welcome back to another action-packed episode of Comic Confidential. I'm your host, Cade, and with me today is my co-host, Troy. How are you?
I'm fantastic, my friend. How are you?
I'm fantastic too, and today we have a special guest.
She is a special guest.
I'm super special.
Well, special is the word.
Yeah, a special is a word I would use to describe me.
Amy, you've fallen off the host wagon, now you've fallen into the guest wagon. What are you going to do about it?
It just means you get an extra special dose of me, see?
Right.
You've got it's the build-up.
It's the build-up?
Yeah. It's going to be an awesome episode just because I'm here.
All right, well, we'll see.
Yeah, you've set a standard now.
You've set the bar high. Yeah, all right. So we've got a pretty big week. We've got some news to get through.
Got some news. We went and saw Planet of the Apes. A war
for it.
Yeah.
What is it good for?
Nothing except monkeying around.
Hey.
I'm gonna make so many goddamn monkey puns.
Great.
This whole episode, I'm gonna try to fit them in wherever I can.
Wherever you can.
Wherever I can.
Orangutan?
Okay.
Damn it.
How many do you think you get?
Nice one.
I'm gonna say 10.
10.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. 10. That's bananas.
1.
Right?
I'll keep
that'll
count.
do.
Okay, that counts.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Should we get into it?
Yeah.
I always like to just make sure that you're okay though before we go. Like you don't have something that you want to whinge about this week.
No.
Your weekly
You've been a bit of a
whinge.
grumpy old man lately. But you cool?
No, I'm cool.
You good?
I had a win this week.
You had a win.
I had a win.
What's that?
I had to mow my lawn this week, right?
That's a
And
win.
it was
Okay.
it was out of control.
Sounds riveting.
Riveting. But the council came past and mowed my lawn for me.
What?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Like, you know those big
asshole.
slashes they have?
Yeah.
They were just, boom, done in 10 seconds.
That means someone complained about you.
No, it's not the first time they've done it.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
really?
people have complained about
You reckon that's
before.
what but it's not that out of control.
Well, you live
in a nice place.
pretty nice area for, like
My neighbor's
someone
lawn.
of your level.
My neighbor's lawn is worse.
Okay.
But they
And they didn't
slash.
do his.
Oh.
All right.
See, the thing is, my property goes onto an easement. So there's just nothing but council land next to me. So they just figure, fuck it. I'm going to do his too.
Awesome. I wish they'd do that to me.
It's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
That is a sad, sad story, my friend.
You say that because you have to mow your own lawn, you peasant.
I do. The
Yeah.
council doesn't give me no handouts.
Neither.
But look, as riveting as all this lawn mowing talk is, let's get into some news because we've got some cool stories this week.
Okay.
And the first one I want to talk about is that this week we got our first look at Zazie Beetz as Domino from the upcoming Deadpool 2 movie, and naturally, the internet has lost its mind. Ditching the traditional albino skin with a black patch around the eye for Zazie's natural dark skin with a white patch, coupled with the decision to keep Beetz's distinctive afro hairstyle, has caused quite a stir with a large number of people hoping for a more comic book accurate look. Deadpool 2 is set for release June 1st, 2018. Guys, what are your thoughts? Zazie Beetz as Domino. Are you as outraged as everybody else?
No.
I legitimately do not care.
Yeah, she looks amazing.
Yeah, she looks hot AF.
Yes. You've got to
all you
abbreviate
care
it.
about.
It's so hot.
Yeah, hot AF.
Yeah.
So you're not as concerned with it not being comic accurate.
I legitimately do not care 1%.
Cool.
As long as the story is good, that's all that matters.
I
Yeah.
feel like she's going to be sassy.
Yeah.
Do you?
I reckon she's going to be a badass bitch.
Yeah, a sassy badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, my biggest thing is I don't know why people would actually question the vision that Ryan Reynolds has for this franchise. I don't think, for everything that the first movie accomplished, with its budget and all that sort of stuff, to turn around and have one thing, kind of not look the way you want it, and then you want to turn around and go, holy crap, this is the shittest thing I've ever seen. Like, where's the albino skin? Where's the black patch around the eye? It just, I don't know why you would question what Ryan Reynolds has in store for this, considering how good the original Deadpool was. Does that make sense?
Oh, it
Yeah.
totally does.
And I think the biggest thing, let's be honest here. If a comic book character is defined more by the way it looks than how it is as a character and interacts with the people around it and its, its skill set and all that sort of stuff, then it's not a very interesting character, is it?
Well, that's exactly
that's
right.
right.
So, I don't think there's too much to worry about. I think it's in good hands. I think people will eventually come around.
I don't care if people do not come around.
Well, see, but this is the thing. I mean, this is causing some heated sort of discussions on the internet. And it's one of those things like, obviously, the race card is being thrown around and most people are kind of saying, I would say that most people are happy with the actress. They just don't like the fact that they have gone away from the traditional look of the character, being with, the albino colored skin specifically. But also the hair seems to be an issue.
I think the hair's the best part.
Me too. I love the hair.
I think it's cool. I think tactically it makes zero sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how she's going to maneuver that.
I was just about to say, like, everything about it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's what I love the most. I want to see her in battle, running around, maybe even trying to hide with this big afro just sticking out everywhere.
I guarantee you at some point, like this, the way this movie kind of Deadpool, the original, kind of pokes fun at itself, with the poking fun at the budget and only being able to afford a couple of X-Men and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point there is like plenty of finger pointing and in-jokes about how she looks, completely sort of different from, the way she does anyway. So we'll see. I think everyone just needs to calm down, you guys.
Yeah, I agree.
Just calm down. Take a chill pill. It's going to be okay.
When are we going to see Cable?
We have sort of already started to see Cable bits and pieces.
I want official released imagery.
Oh, I think they'll try to hold that off for as long as possible, man.
Or do you think they'll just show it and just make everyone just cream their pants?
Well, maybe, because this is kind of like we live in 2017, right?
Everyone's going to see it.
Everyone's going to see it at some point. And I think a lot of people are realizing, like when I say people, like production companies and all that sort of stuff, are realizing that, look, we can't hide this stuff. So let's just give it to them.
Yeah.
And let's just throw it in their face and get them excited for it. At least get them talking.
Get the hype machine going.
Because like at the end of the day, any publicity is good publicity, right? The more people are talking about your product, the more, it's going to kind of draw people towards it, I guess. Because people who mightn't be interested in it are going to go, oh, what's all this talk about this character? And
exactly.
I'm going to go and have a look.
Yeah. But we have seen Josh Brolin getting jacked as fuck in the gym.
Oh, damn. Man, he's got
got
some pipes going on, hasn't he?
He's got some pipes, man. Every day is arms day for Josh Brolin. But yeah, 50 years old, looking absolutely fit. We've seen him getting fitted for his prosthetic eye. But that's about all we've seen so far. However, I think it might have been the director came out and praised his performance as Cable. So I think we're in for a treat.
Well, to be fair, the director's not going to come out and say, fuck, he did a shit job.
Well, it might have even been
he
the
ruined
director.
my movie.
Yeah. Before it's even out, he put the shittest performance in. Man, do not go and see this thing. It is fucking shit.
1 out of 10 would not watch.
But that's it, really. I mean, that's all I've really got to say. I understand why people kind of want the comic book accuracy, and a lot of people are going, with Deadpool, the original, like it was probably one of the most comic accurate portrayals of a character, from the comic to the screen in regards to Deadpool himself.
And you know what? It's very rare that something like that pays off and looks as good as that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at any of those Superman movies. They kind of, apart from the new one where the suit has been changed, like the red underwear on the outside is almost like, it's, mind the pun, it's comical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and like you're talking about someone like Wolverine, with Hugh Jackman, who's about 6'4", and Wolverine's supposed to be 5'3" or something like that. You know what I mean? So there's all these things, and people will get over it and they'll move past it. I think these people, based on the first movie, are going to knock it out of the park. So who cares?
Yeah.
Let's get a good movie going.
Let's.
Speaking of potentially good movies, we shall see. The first one was pretty good. Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp has officially commenced production, with the studio making the announcement via a short video on Twitter, which features the movie's new logo on 2 pint-sized chairs for the movie stars, alongside the release of the film's official synopsis, which reads, "From the Marvel Cinematic Universe comes a new chapter featuring heroes with the astonishing ability to shrink, Ant-Man and the Wasp. In the aftermath of Captain America Civil War, Scott Lang grapples with the consequences of his choices as both a superhero and a father. As he struggles to rebalance his home life with his responsibilities as Ant-Man, He's confronted by Hope Van Dyne and Dr. Hank Pym with an urgent new mission. Scott must once again put on the suit and learn to fight alongside the Wasp as the team works together to uncover secrets from their past. Ant-Man and the Wasp is scheduled for release on June 6, 2018. What are your thoughts on that?
It's scheduled for release the same week as Deadpool.
Correct.
That's crazy.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They're
Now-
going to lose.
Yeah, they are. And I don't know if that will change because I think I think the the release date for Deadpool moved at some point because I know it was February 2016 that they released it and it did so well for an early release. But they have pushed it back to be right in the kind of the summer blockbuster thing. Now, whether they intended to go up against, Fox intended to go up against Marvel Studios, who knows? But yeah, that's going to be a tough win.
It is.
For Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, because Ant-Man didn't have like the greatest, I guess, reception to the first movie. So,
It was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
I didn't hate it.
but it wasn't
Deadpool.
A Iron Man movie or anything like
Oh
that.
no, I loved Ant-Man though.
It was a fantastic movie. It would have been great to see Edgar Wright's version of that, to tell you the truth.
I just don't think enough people watched it.
Yeah.
Like it made some money, but it didn't make a lot of money, and it's kind of like you are taking a more kind of I'll say secondary Avengers character.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, technically, Troy, he was in the original.
Yeah, no, I
Avengers.
know, but
If we're getting technical.
Look, I'm just speaking for the haters already.
yeah,
okay?
all right, yeah, that's fine. Lay it on me, lay it on me thick. I love it. But what I'm kind of trying to get at is when you look at the Avengers, you are looking at the more popular ones, I guess. Like
He's
the
not
Iron Man.
sexy enough, man.
He's not sexy
He's
enough.
not Captain America.
He's not Captain America. He's not Iron Man. He's not the Hulk or Thor or anything like that. So yeah, I just think it was going to be a tough sell from the start, but it was actually a bit of a sleeper hit. Ant-Man and the Wasp, though, I'm pretty keen. I just don't know what to expect because
Especially with how this Marvel universe is moving into this, like, it seems like a very comedic direction.
Well, that works well. Like
exactly.
That
And
bodes
that's
well
gonna-
for this.
And that will work perfectly for Rudd here.
Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, when you look at the scope of everything that's coming, like when you're looking at like Avengers Infinity War and then you've got Thor Ragnarok and you've got like all these other things that are happening around it, Ant-Man and the Wasp seems very kind of like grounded, almost like like a little bit of a lower level compared
Like a
to
street
these,
level compared to
compared to these
everything else.
massive events. And I don't know how that is going to play off. It might be a good kind of distraction from all that. And like I said, the first movie was great, but I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
I do like Paul Rudd.
Me
I
too.
do like what's that guy's name? Michael Douglas.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good kid.
Paul Rudd doesn't look like he's aged in about 1,000 years.
I think that's Michael Douglas, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Michael Douglas is getting...
Michael Douglas
there.
is getting there now.
Michael
Yeah.
Douglas is 1,000 years old, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot
He
about
is
that.
1,000 years old. So maybe he should look like he's 1,000 years old. Anyway.
Yeah?
I'm excited. I am.
All right.
I'll watch it. Let's say
You're
that.
not convincing me.
Yeah, Amy, just where's the hype meter? Is that
Where's the
22,
hype
mate?
meter? It sounds like it's
My
at
hype
about a
meter's-
solid 2.
Nah, I reckon a solid 5.
Solid 5 out of 5. Tricked ya. Academy Award nominated actress Jessica Chastain has confirmed that she'll soon be heading to Montreal to begin filming her scenes for Simon Kinberg's X-Men Dark Phoenix. Back in June, The Hollywood Reporter reported that the actress was in talks for the role of the Shi'ar princess, Lilandra Naramani, and now Chastain has made it pretty clear that her character has her eyes set on Charles Xavier and the X-Men with an Instagram post reading, "Hey James McAvoy, you ready for me up in Montreal? I'm going to make you cry so hard. #X-Men." Whether the character is 100% Lilandra remains to be seen. For those maybe unfamiliar with the character, Princess Lilandra Naramani was a member of the royal family of the Shi'ar Empress. Empress? How is she?
Same. Empress is
She's a princess
Empress.
of the Empress, which makes sense. She possessed superhuman strength and stamina, as well as limited telepathic abilities. X-Men Dark Phoenix is set for release on November 2nd, 2018. Do you guys think like a casting decision like this, like Jessica Chastain, that's an Academy Award-nominated actress, helps a struggling franchise like the X-Men, because it did, it did very well with First Class and Days of Future Past, then had a massive backstep in a lot of people's eyes with Apocalypse. Do you think this movie is headed in the right direction?
Look, I think they're looking for their next big ticket name with Hugh Jackman now leaving this franchise. They need that new draw card to get people in. Is this the right person for it? Not for me.
Okay.
I like Jessica Chastain. I just don't know if... I think what Kate's saying is right, and they've just picked someone who's available. And have said, this is what I think has happened.
She said yes.
And she said yes. And they've... Because honestly, I don't even know the character. And I like X-Men.
Right. Okay. So...
Your thoughts, Troy.
Well, yeah, tell us what you
for
think.
me, I mean, this is an Academy Award nominated actress. Jessica Chastain in Zero Dark 30 was brilliant. I think she will add, like, and a lot of people always say gravitas and stuff like that, but I think she will add an element of, like, she'll elevate the rest of the people around her. And we're talking about people like James McAvoy and what's that guy's name? Fassbender. And the like, and it's just, I think that while, I think it looks like it's headed in the right direction, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I mean, when you're looking at the fact that they've got all these people back, unfortunately Jennifer Lawrence is coming back as well. But they've got...
That's really disappointing.
Yeah, it is disappointing. But they got McAvoy, they got Fassbender, Jessica Chastain. The dynamic between Lilandra and Xavier plays a big part. And I think, we're looking at some good people, and we've got these young dudes coming in that are playing. We got Sansa Starks in there.
Yeah.
We got that dude from that other show.
Yep.
They're all in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it's headed in the right direction.
Look,
it can only go up from Apocalypse, even though I didn't mind it.
Hey, I've got a crazy fan theory here.
Okay.
Do you reckon they've signed on Jessica Chastain to put her into a contract so DC can't use her for Poison Ivy?
Well, see, maybe, but that's her decision, though.
That's right.
Like, at the end of the day, she's the one who has to sign on.
But you see, she could be naive enough to go, like, maybe not even thinking that she's a chance for this DC.
She is a goddamn Academy Award
seen
nominated actress who is absolutely, like, beautiful.
She's stunning.
She's stunning, and she's talented, and she has the world at her feet. And you're saying she might be naive enough to, like, get herself suckered into a contract like she's me trying to, like,
buy a phone.
Trying to buy a phone. Trying to get a part in my school play.
Mate. It happens.
Part in the school play. Troy played grass in the school play.
I was a goddamn tree, and you know it.
But look, this is actually the perfect conversation to talk about it because it happened with Jennifer Lawrence with the X-Men series.
Yeah, but what was she looking at potentially doing?
She didn't want to be in the movies anymore. Like you
can't tell.
Yeah, exactly. You just look at her performance.
But the thing is, she was only contractually obliged to appear in X-Men Apocalypse. That was it. She didn't have to sign on for more. That was a decision by her, and that's the only thing that kind of makes it potentially exciting is the fact that she has made this decision, and she's another person that doesn't need to take a job just for the sake of taking a job. So I would hope, even though they're going to throw a shit ton of money at it, don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid. I understand they would have backed up a truck full of cash and said, we need you back in that goddamn blue paint. But
honestly, they could have put anyone in there and just kept her in the fucking blue.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like X-Men movies. I'm going to see this one. I love Jessica Chastain. Is she the best person? Maybe. We'll see.
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, does it matter?
Yeah.
Are you going to see it? Yeah.
I'm going to watch it. I'm watching the
Yeah,
shit
you're
out
going to
of
see
it.
it? Yeah.
Gonna take all our money.
We're all going to go see it. We're not going to not see an X-Men movie.
That's right.
I am really interested to see this take on the Dark Phoenix saga compared to, obviously, X-Men The Last Stand. So I'm really keen for the whole thing. It's just I'm hoping they can get a little bit of better reception than Apocalypse got.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
Now, in a recent interview, Hannibal and Doctor Strange actor Mads Mikkelsen has seemingly expressed an interest in playing Doctor Doom in the proposed new villain-centric movie from Noah Hawley and Fox Studios. Speaking to Screen Geek, when asked if he might be interested in playing the role, he said, yeah, it's always interesting. They're experimenting with doing some of the villain stories as well. Let's see if they do that. I'm not familiar if they've done that with anyone yet. They haven't done it with the Joker and they haven't done it with the Penguin, so let's see if that day comes. Now, there's obviously no official release date for Doctor Doom at this point, but what do you guys think? Is that potentially the world's greatest casting decision?
I almost fell off the back of this fucking chair. I did not know
You should have
this
seen
news.
his face.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
This might be the best news I've heard all year regarding casting.
Now,
Holy
it hasn't
shit.
obviously hasn't been confirmed.
No.
It's confirmed.
If this does not happen, this is like missing out on Bryan Cranston for Lex Luthor.
I've literally never seen you this excited about anything in your life.
Wow. I'm done. Catch you later, guys.
See ya.
Isn't it brilliant? Like, if you're going to have a villain-centric movie and it's going to be someone like Doctor Doom, imagine Mads Mikkelsen in that role. You know, like, I know, you know, you have to look at with Doctor Doom. Yes, you kind of have to cover his face at some point. And, you know, you're taking that away. But I think, you know, he brings enough. You know
it's him. Under there.
in his performance anyway. That's it'll work. It works for me.
If you've watched like 2 seconds of Hannibal,
Yeah.
you know
You'd be
why.
super excited.
Yeah, you know why this guy has to be Doctor Doom.
On a side note, they are still desperately trying to get season 4 off the ground
Oh, really?
for Hannibal. So keep an eye on that.
What
That could come
happened
back.
at the end?
We'll never know.
You've all seen it, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just because I didn't want to say anything unless
Well,
you
I
guys
mean,
because I didn't know if you were genuinely asking what happened.
Do you
in the
mean
end.
all of us in this room or all of us?
All of us
in the world?
out there in the world? Sometimes I forget we're actually talking to other
Yeah, I
people.
know.
sometimes.
Skip forward 30 seconds because there's going to be Hannibal spoilers.
Hannibal spoilers for the next 30 seconds to a minute.
Okay, go.
All right.
So if they're doing season 4, he's obviously survived falling off that cliff face.
Oh, I guarantee that dude
Yeah.
survived. Like, you saw it at that dinner thing, like at the dinner table at the end, where it was Gillian Anderson with no
Cutting off
leg.
her own leg, eating herself. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Man, that show's fucked up.
But there were 2 seats. There were 2 spare seats at
Yeah.
that table, and that's Will and Hannibal. Fucking guarantee it. They all survived, and it's amazing.
Do you know what it's like? It's like when Jon Snow... they've already got fucking spoilers. It's like when Jon Snow died but didn't die, and then we knew that he
Oh, spoilers.
That's what this
If
is.
you are 2 seasons behind on Game of Thrones, fuck you, man.
didn't die. And if you haven't been on the internet for 3 years...
Yeah. Anyway, spoilers over for
Yeah, okay.
thing.
We're done.
But I'm pretty keen if they can get that off the ground. I'd fucking love that show.
That will be amazing. Look, talking about TV shows that
Amazing.
might be coming back. One has come back.
What's
That's
that?
Narcos.
Oh, yeah.
Season 3 has been slated for release on September the 1st.
Not that you're waiting or anything.
I didn't even know they were doing the season 3. I thought the story was done.
Oh.
Yeah, well, they did that. They did what's it called? El Chapo.
Yeah.
They like a bit of a side story.
So that is related. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
kinda
because
connected.
he kind of like I think he kind of picks up like look, like this is actual history, and I'm probably gonna fuck it, but he kind of not takes on his empire once Pablo Escobar dies, right?
Spoilers.
Well, that's real life.
It's real life.
you can't have spoilers in real life. So once he dies, he eventually gains control of what was once that empire.
Yeah, right. Cool.
I think. Could be wrong.
I'm going to watch that, and then I'm going to watch season 3.
Nice.
Man,
Look,
September's big for TV.
September's massive for TV. Look, I could never. I'm gonna be this guy. I couldn't
Okay.
get into it. I couldn't
Oh,
get
couldn't
into
you?
Narcos.
No, neither did I.
Yeah,
I'm going to be that guy too.
Yeah, I tried like 2. I got 3 episodes in.
You put me on it.
Yeah, I know. Because initially, I'm like, oh, this is cool. It's got a lot of hype. And then I kind of like, I don't know, I just faded into something else. I had other things to do, and I think Westworld came out or something,
Right.
and I watched that instead, and I never got back to it.
Get on it. It is so good.
Yeah, I just don't. I've got so much things to do.
He's
man.
gotta watch
so many things to
So
do.
many more Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, I got like 2 Harry Potter movies, 2.5 Harry Potter movies to watch.
See?
To rewatch them all in the space of 2 weeks.
Got to rewatch them all. Like, Pokemon.
Like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Next news story.
Next
Go.
news story: WWE superstar John Cena.
John Cena!
has joined the cast of the Transformers spin-off movie Bumblebee, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Cena joins previously cast lead Haley Steinfeld, and while no details are available about his character as of yet, the movie has also been given a new release date and synopsis. Originally scheduled for June next year, the movie has been pushed back to December 21st and will go head-to-head with Jason Momoa's Aquaman. The official synopsis reads, the story is set in the year 1987, where Bumblebee finds refuge in a junkyard in a small Californian beach town. Charlie, Haley Steinfeld, on the cusp of turning 18 and trying to find her place in the world, discovers Bumblebee, battle-scarred and broken. When Charlie revives him, she quickly learns this is no ordinary yellow VW bug. As stated, Bumblebee, slated for release December 21st. What are your thoughts?
Beep,
John
beep,
Cena.
motherfucker.
What is the name of that car? That's the VW Bug. That was a TV show.
Herbie.
That's all that's coming to my head.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm never going to get that out of my head now.
Yeah.
Well, that was also like Lindsay Lohan
Yeah.
redid those
Oh,
movies
that's right.
as well. So,
yeah.
very, very similar, I think, except this car turns into a
Fucking
fucking
robot.
and doesn't just have its doors flap open and its lights
Eyes
flash.
flash.
So
That's a
a
good
little bit more, there's like next level sort of stuff.
Next
Actually,
level
out
Herbie.
of all the vehicles, you think you would have chosen something different. Now that's all I'm going to think.
Well, no, but the thing is, if you remember the original Transformers movie, that's the car that rocks up at the start that eventually turns into the Chevy.
Oh, it is too.
Yeah, so it's a real beaten up V-dub Beetle that he gets initially.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and then I think, oh no, is it?
No, it's not.
No, because
it's a Dodge.
it's an old Dodge.
Oh,
What's the V-dub? Oh, no, I think it is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever. The whole point is,
He's an
back
old
in the
car.
day, according to Transformers The Last Night, which I have not seen, but I've seen enough of the previews to know that back in the day, he fought against the Germans in the war, and he was a VW Beetle. So take that, world.
there you go.
John Cena, man. John
Yeah.
Cena, the next potential Terminator in James Cameron's trilogy, is back on the big screen, and I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
This guy is the new Rock.
He is. I
And
reckon.
I'm not saying that because he's a wrestler.
And people are definitely going to hear this here first. John Cena will be the new Terminator.
I hope
100%.
so.
100%.
I'd be keen for that.
That is the most perfect car scene apart from
That jaw structure.
Oh,
right?
just
Perfect
everything
Terminator
about
jaw
John Cena.
structure.
Yeah.
Back on track.
People are going to go ape shit when they see this movie.
Yeah.
Ape shit, that's number 2.
Oh,
People are going to go absolutely mental when they see this movie because I reckon John Cena is going to blow it out of the water. This guy, people say, wrestlers can't act and all that sort of stuff. I really, truly believe that deep within John Cena is an actual really good actor as well. And I'm not just saying that.
I think he shits all over the Rock.
yep.
As an actor?
Yeah.
Fucking oath, man.
Easily.
Fucking
Easily.
oath.
And the guy actually lifts and squats and deadlifts. He's an actual lifter, mate.
Well, so does The Rock.
So does The Rock. He works out
Nah.
like 1,000 times
Nah.
a day. What do you think about it going up against Aquaman?
That's big. Now, I don't know, like, people are suffering from Transformers fatigue, so I don't think it's going to hurt it that much. I think by the time the hype train for Aquaman, like, it's at its peak, people want to see that movie. People will see Justice League, and, like, we have gone on record as saying that Jason Momoa is probably going to steal that movie.
Yeah.
So I think when you get to December next year, people are going to want to see Aquaman before they see another goddamn Transformers movie.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I will.
But that's
just
not
me.
going to stop people from going to see this because this will be the first Transformers movie that's not directed by Michael Bay. So people, I think, are going to want to go and see it. They're going to want to, like, Travis Knight is the director who directed Kubo and the Two Strings, which was very, very well received. So I think people are going to want to go out and get it and check it out. I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to trouble Aquaman. I think it's a bold move for them to try it. But
Friendly competition.
Friendly competition.
Well, you know what? The thing is, there's always going to be kids, and kids are always going to want to go see Transformers movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
You know, adults are wiser than that, but kids will fucking scream until their parents take them. So
You know what my problem with this is? Like, this is another movie where you've got, like, another... Like, and it's a Transformers movie, I mean. Like, not just another movie. You've got another Transformers movie where you've got a young, attractive female that they're playing off at 17, turning 18. It's got Michael Bay written all over it.
Yeah.
Yet it's not Michael Bay. Is that
Yeah.
it is just a Transformers thing now? Where, like, you have to have,
well,
like,
Michael
some...
Bay is probably producing all of these.
I would say he
still,
probably
so-
has a fairly big hand in it somewhere.
The thing is, Haley Steinfeld does have quite a young face.
Yeah, but how
So,
old is she really?
I don't know. She's definitely not 17.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say she's maybe 25.
So we're gonna make her 17 on
Yeah.
the cusp of
She
turning
was
18.
she was in a film last year, I think, actually called The Edge of 17, where
Okay.
she played someone who was 17.
Yeah.
And she did an all right job.
Yeah.
So-
Look, she got quite a few pretty good raps for that movie, from what I remember.
Michael Bay, just stop being weird and
Yeah,
just put
just
normal
stop being
ages.
weird. Just put them as like 18, make it 20, 21. Like that's
Yeah.
cool. It's
I've been denied
completely
making
fine.
these jokes anymore on this podcast.
Yeah.
How about
I know, yeah.
How about she's a college kid who's failed college and is trying to find herself in the world that
21.
way?
Yeah, exactly.
It's 21.
Yeah, make her 21, struggling college kid, so
There
she
you
has
go.
to buy a shitty beat up 1987 fucking V-dub
That's
Yeah.
right.
because she can't afford to like buy cars like the cool kids
Yeah,
at a
she's
rich
just
school
eating ramen and watching reruns of Seinfeld.
because she got like a scholarship to like Harvard or something like that. That's in Boston. Like, where is she? In
Well, I don't
California,
know.
whatever the one in California
She
is.
teleports.
Yep. And she
I don't know.
now she's teleporting. This is a much better movie, by
I
the
think
way.
so. Michael Bay, if you're
As
listening.
soon as you throw teleportation into it, you're good to go.
We should do an episode one day of how to make the perfect Transformers movie, and we just pitch a couple of ideas.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
what we
I
just
like
did.
that.
Just keep that going.
Yeah,
Sweet. We'll do that one day.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
That's news, bitches.
that's news.
That is news.
That's news.
So this is normally where we'd break, but we don't break no more.
Breaks are for suckers.
yeah.
Breaks are for suckers, my friends. So you're stuck with us because right now we are going to go straight into our review for War for the Planet of the Apes.
And it's going to make editing really easy because it's like bang on 30 minutes.
Yeah, nice.
We're
Nailed
halfway.
it. It's because I'm here.
Oh,
See?
that's right.
Told you.
Now, Troy, I see you've written a little write-in for this, and I see that you've already put like 3 puns in this shit.
No, I haven't. I put in one, and now that we're just transitioning straight into it, it's not even going to make sense. But
I want you to make it work.
well, basically, what I was trying to get at is on this week's show, we're all about business, monkey business.
Oh, shoot me.
Anyway, shoot me too, because now that I read it, it's pretty terrible. But anyway, so yes, we decided to review the final chapter in Matt Reeves' epic Apes franchise, War for the Planet of the Apes, to see if it really is what some critics are calling the best summer blockbuster in years. Now let's talk about some financials.
Numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, so this has actually had a pretty good bloody opening. I'm genuinely surprised by this.
Yeah,
Because-
just remember that when you're looking at worldwide totals and things like that, this movie has been open in the States for a good month,
Oh.
roughly.
Have we been plagued by the studios again?
Well, I think it's about 3 weeks, yeah. So it's
Far
been
out.
out for, by the time we are recording this show, it's been out for a week here, just over a week, and it's been out for about 3 weeks everywhere else.
Oh, right,
Or
okay.
most other places. So yeah, just
All
so
right.
you know.
Fair enough. So the domestic opening was $56 million, and the current domestic total is 121.8. I will dare say that's clicked over to $122
I'd say that's
million
clicked over, yeah.
And the
That's a good guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the current worldwide total is 228 million. Had a budget of 150 million, and Australia has slumped in at a very impressive 3.2 million.
That's not bad. It's not bad.
It's
For
done pretty
Australia.
well.
If Australia can get up to around $10-11 million, that's not too bad for
Yeah.
for an Australian release. $56 million is a pretty respectable opening weekend. It opened up against some pretty hefty competition, obviously. It was Spider-Man Homecoming, I think, was only in its second week.
Had Baby Driver around the same
Yeah,
time.
Dunkirk was out there now and all that sort of stuff. So there's plenty of stuff that this is going up against. $56 million, very in line with Rise, the second movie. So I don't think you can be too sad about $228 million on a $150 million budget 3
Definitely
weeks
not.
in.
Yeah.
It's not like this isn't Wonder Woman money or anything like that, but it's
It's
good.
not a Wonder Woman movie either.
Well, it's not a Wonder Woman movie either. What is the movie about?
Amy?
It's about Caesar and his apes are forced into a deadly conflict with an army of humans led by a ruthless colonel. After the apes suffer unimaginable losses, Caesar wrestles with his darker instincts and begins his own mythic quest to avenge his kind. As the journey finally brings them face to face, Caesar and the colonel are pitted against each other in an epic battle that will determine the fate of both their species and the future of the planet of the apes.
Or humans.
Yeah,
No
well.
spoilers. You don't know what happens.
It's not like this came out 40 years ago.
Well, yeah.
I would just like to point out how well I did at reading that when the whole time Troy was doing like kung fu ninja
yeah, I was
moves.
doing like, because like it's
A war. What is
war.
it good for?
Yeah, karate time.
That's right.
So obviously we got Andy Serkis as Caesar, Woody Harrelson as the Colonel, Steve Zahn as Bad Ape, Karen Conoval as Maurice, with Judy Greer, Gabrielle Chavaria, Terry Notary, and Amaya Miller. Naturally, directed by Matt Reeves, who directed Rise, and is also directing the Batman movie. You know, I'm not going to talk about Matt Reeves and not talk about the Batman at some point.
Oh, we didn't even talk about all the Batman news this week.
Next week.
Batman's back, baby.
But we're here to talk about War for the Planet of the Apes.
We are.
So we're going to do that. Now, Kate, I'm going to start with you, man. So what are your thoughts? Because I know that you had to, we've spoken about this on the show before, so I know you had to go back because you had seen the first one, hadn't seen Rise, and then, obviously we're going to do War. So you got to see Rise, then see War.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts?
Look, this movie was not what I was expecting. It was a little bit slower. I was actually expecting more because the second movie, it was actually quite great. It was pretty fantastic, the second one. I enjoyed it quite a lot. I was supposed to be doing a lot of work. I ended up doing a lot of watching of this movie.
Oh, that's good.
That is good. So it held my interest for the whole time, and that's not to say that, it wasn't an uninteresting movie that couldn't hold it. But, yeah, I feel like this might be the weakest out of all of them.
Really? So what's your biggest problem then? So do you think the story... So you're like... I guess what I'm taking away from this is like you're thinking war... And you're expecting war.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's very much a different kind of war story. It's
Yeah,
not
definitely.
like balls to the wall action.
That's right. I guess the war is really inside Caesar and himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn, it got serious in here.
It got deep.
He's battling his inner demons, and that's essentially what this whole movie is about. And I guess I went in with a different premise.
Yeah.
It's just really was not what I was expecting. And in saying that, the movie felt like it moved quite slow. The plot was not great. Not great
Really?
in my opinion.
Okay. Specifically,
that there was, how can I say it? Woody Harrelson actually didn't make this movie great.
Normally he does. And I guess the hype train just didn't do it for me. Yeah, in the sense that Caesar was his own villain.
Yep.
That's a good point.
Amy?
I agree on almost absolutely everything that you have said.
Yeah.
I had issues, not to say it was a good movie. I enjoyed watching the movie. I just felt like it could have given me a little bit more, especially since, like you said, it's called War. And I don't know. I didn't get it. I feel like Rise, I was like, yes, the war, it's here. This one, it's not war.
Well, with Rise, it's very empowering.
Yeah.
To the apes.
There are some empowering scenes in this. They're just more subtle. Like, are we going into talking about everything?
Look, we'll keep it spoiler free for now. But
spoiler free.
Yeah.
I had trouble with some of the scenes. It just was too slow. That was my main issue. Other than that, I thought it was average. It was average for me.
Troy?
Okay. The only thing I will agree with that you've said is the length. 2 hours, 20 minutes is probably a bit too long for this movie.
Absolutely.
Could have well and truly been like come in under 2 hours and it would have been fine. So I do agree that the time like dragged a bit too much. I didn't go into it expecting an all-out war. And I think like when you're talking about a movie that is basically like apes on screen for 90% of the movie with humans in the background, like for it to incite the emotions that it still managed to incite with Caesar's struggle within himself and his struggle to do the right thing for his people. And then when you take someone like, when you have all that and it's great, and then you add a character like Woody Harrelson, who is dynamic on screen. Like every single time he comes on screen, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, every single time he comes on screen, he like brings something else to the thing, to the movie. And his his character, and we'll get more into like the hero and the villain and all that sort of stuff. But his character, in my opinion, his motivations were really well fleshed out. And then Caesar's himself, his motivations were really fleshed out. This is a war that he never wanted at any point. When you see Rise, like, he doesn't want it to happen. It just happens because of the actions of Cobra and all that sort of stuff, right? So for me, it's really interesting to see Caesar's journey throughout this, and his constant sort of like, he is the leader and he's this hero, but he is not infallible. He has like problems and he struggles and he makes wrong decisions and he has, all of these things. And then, like, I just think that's great. And I think the way it ended, which we can't talk about, is very fitting. We'll talk about that more in spoilers and things like that. But for me, I wasn't expecting an all-out action movie. And I think that helped me because I went in expecting a really strong character story, and that's what I personally felt like I got. I connected more with these apes than I think I've connected with anything on screen for quite some time, which is, pretty weird in it.
That's interesting because I had zero emotional connection to Caesar in this movie. And the fact that, like, it almost seemed like every other ape was almost irrelevant to him apart from his son. He was almost saving his son because he was with these other apes.
Yeah, look, how about we just throw it out there? We'll just, we'll give our ratings and stuff like that. And then we'll go into spoilers because it's really hard to talk about this movie in particular without talking about major plot points and, like endings and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So rate it or hate it? Kate.
I'll rate it.
Okay, but it's obviously very borderline.
This is wait for Netflix rate.
Okay. Amy?
I'll rate it too. I still would watch it on the big screen because I feel like there's a lot to see in this movie. It's just not, it's not up there with my top. I will rate it though.
Yeah. Rate it 100%. Visually spectacular, amazing special effects, great character-driven story. Now let's get into spoilers.
All right.
Okay, so if you haven't seen this movie, this is your point to tune out for like at least the next 20 minutes or something, and then come back in. We'll do some listener questions or something.
Yeah.
We'll still have time codes and all that sort of stuff, I'm sure. Now, Kate, go. What's your beef, Chief?
Look, now this might just be me, but I almost felt like there was a fair bit of religious undertones to this movie. In the sense that we're crossing great deserts, we almost got like three wise men with these monkeys. We're battling an evil, but we're also not perfect ourselves.
But you could like I get what you're saying because you're 100% right. Like there are dead set religious undertones to it, but that's not to say that that's not the same as like movies like Star Wars and things like that. Like
definitely,
it's there. Yeah. Like it's always there.
But I felt like this was almost a little bit too on the nose in the sense that like we're effectively getting Caesar tied up to a damn cross in like every evening that he's been captured.
Well, like that's more a like. It's hard if you haven't seen the original movies because that is kind of more a throwback to like how the apes treat the humans in like within the Forbidden Zone. So they actually have them tied to crosses and stuff like that. So it's just like it might not necessarily be so heavily religious as it is kind of paying like homage to the originals. Which like. If you guys don't know this, these aren't like necessarily reboots. These are soft prequels, to eventually get us to where Planet of the Apes starts back in the day with Charlton Heston and whatnot.
Which is brilliant. I didn't know that until you told me earlier tonight.
Yeah,
that's a good timeline.
The problem I had with the villain is I feel like it was like comic book villain theory in the sense that it was his way or the highway and he will shoot you if you didn't agree. And he was like this little rogue army that was almost brainwashed.
Yeah.
And to me, I just feel like in a movie that's trying to be like this symbolic and this, I guess, ultra realistic, that didn't fit. It didn't make sense.
I probably disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think it was that whole setup there was something I actually quite enjoyed about the movie. And it's probably because like you said, Troy, I thought his motivations were reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he was not justified or whatever, but in his brain, he thought what he was doing was right. And I fucking hated him. Like, because he was, one of the villains, if we're going to say Caesar in his brain was the other. And I hated him. And that's, I guess, not that you want to hate every villain, but I was like, you're a bad man.
Yeah. I like to look at it more like, yes, he is like what you would call the typical villain in the movie, but realistically, this is the story of Caesar, and this is the story of Caesar's struggle to really kind of, maintain, which a weird thing to say, but his humanity, right? So without, being pushed to the brink and having like, your wife and your child killed in front of you, basically, and, things like that. And to be driven to a point where, like you struggled so hard against your best friend in, say, in the previous movie with him versus Koba, that, like to lead your way of life, that you now have to turn around and you have this constant internal struggle to not turn out to be the one thing that you never wanted to be in the first place. And, it's kind of like you see him realize that he might have been right the whole time, but he needs to kind of like, he has to have that internal kind of thing to realize that that's not the right path. And he has that journey, I think. The Woody Harrelson's villain is secondary to that. Like, he is just a catalyst for, he doesn't represent all of humanity, but he represents like a problem and something that is this
a demon,
a demon, that could be this turning point for Caesar. But I think as any true hero does, he obviously realizes that kind of his leadership of these people is more important than his own vengeance.
He gets a lot of apes killed along the way on his journey. But
he does, but I think at that point, like, it's because of the mass kind of like slaughter of the apes at the start, and then obviously losing, like I said, his wife and kid, and that kind of turns him to a point where that's kind of what I mean. He doesn't really care.
Yeah.
Driven by vengeance. That's all he cares about. Like, all he wants is this one person that has taken what was so precious to him, but in his journey needs to realize that there is in fact more at stake than just his own personal
There's even the
problems.
line that Maurice says where he's like, you're turning into Cobra, or whatever he says. And he sort of says, oh, I shouldn't have brought you guys with me.
Yeah.
This is bad. But anyway.
Look, some of these, like, Maurice, I think Luca was the big gorilla that was with them.
That guy lifts.
Yeah, that guy lifts like a motherfucker.
He had some pipes on him.
But he likes flowers.
Yeah, he does, and like,
big softy.
but you know what I mean, like, and Rocket, I think, was the other one.
Yeah.
That like the it's really it's interesting that they have been able to, you're not actually looking at a human on the screen, right? But like, I connected with that. Like I said, more than I've probably connected with things a lot. And like, this is basically, when you look at this movie as a whole, this is Logan, right? This is the whole sort of thing. It's like, a man at the end, kind of like has one last mission, has to save, the people that he loves or whatever. And as, we're in spoiler territory, and dies at the end doing so, but succeeds in doing it.
Yep.
This is not as good as Logan, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No,
I agree.
Logan is the much better story, but like, it incited a lot of emotion out of me in regards to, when that Luca gorilla died, man, and that kid put a little flower in his head. It was a mess.
Yeah.
So like, for me to actually be able to register emotion on something that is not even a human being, on screen, meh. I think it's pretty big.
It's interesting because that raises something that kind of made me question how this movie was going, and it might be why I don't have any connection to like any monkeys in this movie apart from Maurice. Like, he was like such a beautiful, gentle character. Like, you could connect with that. All the other monkeys were just kind of like white noise to me. And what kind of made me think about this was the fact that when we do meet this little girl who seems to have the what's the virus called?
Simian flu.
Simian flu. So she's basically...
Well, they all have it. And I guess for people like listening at home, if you are still listening in spoilers and you haven't seen the movie, effectively what's happened is the simian flu, as we know, has wiped out, 95% of the Earth's population. But what's happening now is that as the virus progresses, it is turning humans into more primitive creatures while it is elevating the intelligence of the apes. And this leads to, again, the older movies where when you get Charlton Heston's character who arrives on Earth as an astronaut, and when he first meets humans, they are very primitive and ape-like, and they can't really speak and all that sort of stuff. But when he meets the apes, they're obviously highly intelligent. And this is set quite a little bit in the future from where these would end. But it's kind of that's what's happening. So this virus is starting to mutate and causing even the humans that have survived the initial outbreak to turn into these primitive, non-speaking kind of beings.
That's right.
Sorry, I just had to throw that out. Just in
but
case.
what I thought was interesting about that is we see Caesar's crew.
Yep.
They roll up in their 6'4".
Yep.
And they gun down this girl's
Guardian.
Guardian. I believe it would be her father.
Okay.
Potentially.
She's very emotionless about that. However, she is almost borderline. Well, what she's crying her eyes out basically over a monkey that she's been with for 2 days.
Yeah.
She's a kid.
Well, she is a kid, but I mean, if you're a kid and you saw your guardian or your father get murdered.
The thing that I noticed was when they found her, she was all beat up, right?
Well, no, she wasn't beat up because that's
Could've
initially
blood.
what I thought.
Yeah, okay.
But that's a symptom of this flu.
Yeah, the blood nose and all that is a symptom of the
I
flu
never
itself.
put that together.
Well, I didn't until Woody Harrelson had the same problem towards the end.
I still
so,
didn't
yeah.
even tie that
The
in.
dead bodies didn't give it away when they all had the blood. nose.
Well,
but
no,
I
I
just
didn't
thought they'd
like-
been shot
yeah,
and they'd
I-
been sprayed in the face. Or
It didn't.
flame.
It didn't click initially.
No.
right.
Took me
Okay,
a while
well,
to get there.
yeah, moot point.
But I guess the biggest thing is we don't know what her situation was before then.
No.
We don't know if what this guardian was to her. He was very quick to to drop his wood and pick up a shotgun to try to shoot Caesar. We don't know if he was a good person or not. She seemed to be very frightened at the time. Was she frightened of the apes or was she frightened of her guardian? Who
We'll
knows?
never know.
We'll never know. But I see what you're saying. I do see it.
Definitely.
But I think maybe it goes back to this whole because she can't speak and Maurice has taken every sort of chance that he can to kind of bring her into the whole thing and treat her kind and Caesar didn't want anything to do with her and he still took her and he gave her the doll and all this sort of stuff and the other monkey cared for her and gave her a little flower and that was nice and
Apes
I
are
cried.
nice people.
I met the dude fucking half an hour ago and I nearly cried.
Yeah.
So
Soft, mate.
yeah, for this movie I was.
I did like what they did with that plush toy type thing.
Yeah.
Oh, nah.
You didn't?
Nah, not at all.
I didn't see it coming. Then I was like, oh, damn.
Once I saw it in there, I knew.
You
I
knew?
knew straight away. And I was like, that guy is going to get fucking sick, and I bet you Caesar doesn't take care of him.
I kind of like that.
That was
though.
that. I feel like that plot point was just telegraphed from as soon as she gave Caesar that little toy.
Yeah, but so you're disappointed that you didn't see a big knockdown, drag him out fight between Caesar and Woody Harrelson? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely.
He blew up the base though. That was cool.
I don't think it was necessary. I not to say I wouldn't have liked something, but I don't think it's necessary.
Well, I think it would have been a much stronger character arc for Caesar if he went through this whole thing and got to that point and he had the decision of being able to kill him or not, which
He did.
He did, but it was a cop-out way.
Well,
And the battle was over before it begun.
yeah, I get what you're saying. I didn't have a problem with it at all.
I would have liked to see some face bashing somewhere.
Just a little bit of
just
face
a little bit
bashing.
of it because it was kind of detached, I guess. Obviously a lot of death occurred in the movie, but it wasn't the big gorilla, Luca, was that his name?
Which
Did
one?
We say? The one with the flower.
Oh, yeah.
Him dying was the saddest fight battle-y thing I saw, and it wasn't really a battle, if you know what I mean. So I would have liked to see a bit more drag him out, but
Well, you see, this could have been the perfect moment that we could have had Woody tell Caesar, are you an animal or, are you a beast or are you human? Type of thing. Like, are you going to rise above being an animal type of thing?
Yeah. But I think he did anyway. He had a perfect opportunity to shoot him stone cold if he wanted to. He obviously decided not to do it. And Woody Harrelson took care of himself. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I was a little bit more disappointed that he didn't get to slap around that giant donkey.
Donkey.
I think his name was Red Donkey.
How come? Look, this guy was this ape was a dick.
He was a
the
dick.
whole movie. He has probably killed so many of his kind.
Yeah.
And then he gets sad because humans are killing them.
Exactly. It's another
no,
thing.
I didn't understand that.
You could see it kind of slowly coming.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could see him kind of slowly starting to, like, to turn a little bit towards Caesar, because, like, Caesar was kind of quite harsh to him in the sense of, like, you've betrayed your people, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. And then when he sees, Caesar kind of, like, trying to sacrifice everything to, like, save the apes and all that sort of stuff, I think it's just that final turn. Was a little bit quick and a little bit convenient. Yeah, it could have been, like, done a little bit differently. I just wanted to see him get slapped around a little bit.
Yeah.
He was a bit of a prick.
That would have been, okay.
I wanted the Jack Monkey to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been pretty good.
Anyway, missed opportunity.
Anything else you want to talk about the actual story? Because I do just want to mention, I want to talk about the ending first before we move on. Because this is a situation where you do see, obviously Caesar dies, and that's why I dead set think it's the end of a trilogy. I don't think they will push any further than this. And the reason why I say that is two things. I don't think it's going to make enough money to warrant
No,
a
not
fourth
at all.
one.
No.
And secondly, it kind of already has a sequel in the same way that Rogue One has Star Wars and New Hope, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It kind of already does that, and that's fine. But you do see Caesar die, and that was another very emotional moment. I think it was handled very well. Why are you looking at me like that?
I thought it was a weak death as well. How convenient is it that this monkey can travel across deserts, through snow, through this massive journey?
Okay.
His journey was complete.
Is it though? Like, you just can't go, guess what? I'm done.
Have you
Peace
seen
out.
The
Mic
Notebook?
drop.
Here's the thing. Have you ever seen a movie before in your life? Because I would question, because this is not the first time this has been done.
Of course
the same.
not.
It's the same thing with Logan, to a lesser extent, but it's the same sort of thing, like the same kind of thing. I do understand with what you're saying, but this is Caesar. It is his goal. It is his, like, the only thing that matters to him is getting his people to safety, to Nirvana or whatever you want to call it, to the promised land, I guess. This is
Caesar
Moses.
got shot in the second movie and fell like 100 meters out of a tree and survived.
Yes,
This was an arrow in the ribs, mate.
which probably punctured a lung,
And his heart.
potentially his heart.
I'm pretty sure a fucking bullet would have done a fair bit
But
more.
not only that, he didn't receive treatment, did he? Because, like you said, he just walked through a fucking desert and some snow and all that sort of stuff. All he cared about was getting his people to safety. I think that's I think it's it's testament to the character of Caesar to push through that. But that's fine. Like, I get what you're saying though. Like, I understand. It's not the way I would have, it's not the first thing I would go to, because it has been done so many times before. That whole, like, surviving such a long time to actually make it to your destination only to die once you get there because somebody else realizes that you've got a wound. But as soon as that goddamn orangutan dropped a tear down its eye, I was done.
Do you know what I
was
noticed,
like, you know
though?
what? That thing looks too fucking real, and it's like making me want to cry. It was very emotional, and then it spoke. And it's like, oh my god.
I was feeling that way. I'm like, oh, this is kind of sad. Like, if Caesar had died in the big explosion, I would have been pissed, because I'm like, oh well,
Yeah.
whatever. I was like, oh my god, this is actually quite an emotional scene. And then all I could see was the orangutan stroking Caesar's leg, and it looked like he was stroking his penis.
Well, I did not see
Yep,
that.
that's all I saw in that scene. So it was ruined for me.
Excellent.
Yeah, you're
Damn.
welcome.
All right. Very quickly, Andy Serkis, brilliant performance. This motion capture stuff, absolutely amazing.
He kills it as
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Well, he kills it, but like all of those people are actors. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, they're all doing it. But the way, oh man, this is next level. This is some next level bullshit. Like, it is crazy the way they managed to pull this sort of stuff off. It just looks amazing.
Oh, compare this to the second movie. It's chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. I know you've said it. I don't see the problems that you see with the CGI in the second one. I would say, though, like, if I was going to have any criticism, like, about this movie, is that everybody looked perfect.
Yeah.
Pitch perfect in this movie, except at times Caesar himself. And when he is at the forefront, that is a problem. And I don't know if maybe he was just, like, standing a little bit too upright while the rest were very kind of, like, you know, ape-like and ape movements and things like that. Like, and, you know, when he's sitting on a horse, he's very, like, rigid.
That's a good point.
You know, stuff like that. I don't know if it was stuff like that that kind of took me out of it. But, you know, he is also the leader, and he is, you know, he has to be.
I have a few little quips with this movie, and I'm going to shotgun them through.
Okay.
One, those horses have to be the strongest fucking horses in the world to be able to carry 2 apes on their back. One being a gorilla.
Horses are quite strong, but yeah.
Damn strong.
Yeah.
2, all these people seem very well nourished.
People?
Yeah, the people.
In the fortress.
Yes.
Well, you saw that they had, like, massive stores of, like, grain and things like that. Like, they had obviously. However,
they've only recently just got to this barricade area.
Yeah, but this is only a few years after, like, the simian flu has kind of, like, struck and wiped out. It's not like, you know, food resources are completely
It's only
gone.
like 2 years or something.
Yeah, it's not long. So, you know, they can, like, if people in The Walking Dead, goddammit, can still find cans of fucking food lying around.
And fuel and drive cars.
However many years after the apocalypse it's been, these guys can be fine. But it's cool.
What else?
3, I don't think we needed the comic relief from the chimpanzee.
No, I liked that.
Now, Bad Ape.
I don't think it was needed. And that was a downer on this movie. Because there was comic relief where there didn't need to be.
Yeah, I can see that. I understand why they had to bring the character in, because they had to show that it had affected people, apes. It had affected apes, or chimps in this case, outside of Caesar's group.
Yeah.
So they needed to show that elsewhere in the world, the same thing was happening.
I think
so. This is somebody completely unrelated to the initial group of people from San Francisco that it's happened to, and they needed to introduce that character. Whether they had to introduce, you know, it as so comical, I don't know. I thought it was fine. Like, I laughed when he came out in his little jacket and
the
did the thumbs up. And
That's
stuff like
all
that.
they needed to do for, like, the comic relief in this movie. They didn't need him to be goofy or anything else. I just thought that was such a downfall.
I liked it. I thought it was refreshing. The other thing too is they needed him to get to this border.
Yeah.
That was sort of, I like how they tied that in.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
I really enjoyed the scenes that he was in.
He reminded me of Dobby a lot.
All right.
He reminded me of Gollum.
Ooh, yeah, I get that.
Can I have my one? I only have one other thing to add. The reason this movie took so long is because it takes the apes about 1,000 hours to say one sentence.
Yeah. But that's like, if you look at the progression of Caesar, like in the first movie, Caesar couldn't really speak, right?
Yeah.
And all he said, I think, at the end was like, he said no or stop or whatever. Then when you get to Rise, he is able to sort of piece together sentences a little bit more and says sort of, you know, bits and pieces here and there. Then when you get to this, he is actually quite, you know...
advanced.
He's quite advanced. It's just a progression in the character, but I mean, he's still not at the level of being able to speak like a human. But from a couple of years ago when he could barely... He was an ape.
And I get that. And I get that it was needed. It just dragged on. And I think the difference is it was just Caesar before, so you could deal with it. Every damn ape is now learning to talk and taking their sweet-ass time about it. That was my only other thing.
Well, yeah, think about Rise, though. When you think about Rise, in the first, like, half an hour to 45 minutes of that movie...
all silent.
It's just all silent.
That's
it's just
true.
mostly sign language and little grunts and, like, you know, that sort of thing. Like, that's incredible that they managed to pull that off. So I like the way, like... I appreciate the way that they kind of... You know, they told a story without having ridiculous amounts of dialogue, in my opinion.
Favorite action scene? Favorite moment from the movie?
Okay, Amy, go.
Action scene or favourite moment?
Whatever.
Mine was Bad Ape.
Okay.
Because I should probably set the scene about when I watched this, I was bone tired. So I was struggling a little bit. He came on the screen and I was like, "Ooh, bad ape."
Yeah.
So that was what sort of hooked me back again, got me through the end. So I have to say that.
Cool.
Sorry.
Oh, mine for me, easy. When it's when they're actually in the, I'll call them concentration camps or whatever you want to call
Yep.
them. When they're in the thing and, they do the whole ape stronger together thing and they all start standing up and doing their hand thing.
Yep.
And Caesar kind of realizes what he has to do. I thought that was brilliant.
I like that.
My favorite too.
Oh,
Seriously?
Yep.
Oh, well, there
Yep.
you go.
Do
That's
you know,
nice.
Do you know what else I thought was cool? Was the pacing. The 37 steps or whatever. I'm like, that is damn smart.
Yeah, they're
Smart apes.
They're smart apes.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we're done here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once again, for the people that didn't hear it the first time, rate or hate?
Rate it.
Rate it.
Highly rate it.
Yeah. That's a good scale.
Yeah.
I think that reflects well.
Cool. So that's it. That's War for the Planet of the Apes. Go out and see it. Check it out. That is going to take us into the listener question segment.
Listener question.
Okay, so the first question we have is from Ads, and he writes, I'm not a Star Trek fan, but do you think the new stuff has great writers enough to make it feasible for him to start watching, basically? So as a non-Star Trek fan, what do you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not a Star Trek fan at all. And these new movies, they're rad as. Just go watch them.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sort of, I want to say, a semi-Star Trek fan, and I love these movies. So just watch them. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah, I think it's a good different take on if you look at the original series, it was a little bit goofy and all that sort of stuff. Next Generation was great and all that. But I like the way they've kind of gone with these, with Star Trek, especially I really liked Into Darkness. Now a lot of people didn't, but whatever.
I
don't
like
really
that
care.
movie too.
And Beyond was pretty fun as well. So I like the actors as well. That helps.
Chris
And
Pine.
J.J. Abrams has done a pretty good job. So hopefully that helps. Ads.
And if you're into lens flares, these are your types of
Ooh.
movies.
Oh shit!
yes.
Lens flares left, right, and center. Phil writes, with Ben Affleck announcing that a Batman trilogy directed by Matt Reeves will be going ahead, what direction do you believe they will go in, and will they address Jason Todd's death, possibly leading to a live-action Under the Red Hood film? Kate?
I would fucking die a happy man if we got a Red Hood film.
Yeah?
I thought you were going somewhere else with that statement, but no, I'm glad you got there because
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the way they'll go with this particular trilogy.
I think it really depends on what their vision is.
Yeah, and it's really hard to say at this point because they're still basically writing the script for the first one. And I know that I know Matt Reeves has a trilogy in mind, and that's kind of the arc that he's gonna write it as. I think we're going to see something very similar to we just spoke about War for the Planet of the Apes. But I think we're going to see something very similar in the sense that we just saw with Caesar, whereas this will effectively become an aging Batman that, kind of is kind of spent all this time doing what he can do to protect Gotham, but realizes at some point that he needs to step aside.
So you're talking more like character film. Rather than
Basically. But it also depends on what they do, and it depends on if Ben Affleck stays.
So,
And
in saying that, you're thinking we might be looking at a Batman Beyond?
yeah,
Future here.
yeah. I would say that that's probably where it's going to end up, and somebody else will take the mantle when
We
not
reach
Ben
the
Affleck,
end.
but when Bruce Wayne steps aside.
Yeah.
Finally. I don't know if they'll ever go back and address what we saw in Batman vs Superman with the with the suit and the Joker and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, I 100% guarantee they will.
Do you
I
think
hope
so?
they do.
Yes.
Okay, because that would have to it would have to be set as a prequel.
Yeah. I mean, there's too much backstory, especially with Harley Quinn already being noted as killing
Yeah,
Jason
but
Todd. So
but that you've got to understand that was all set in place before they started, Warner Brothers basically started this kind of new direction that they're taking it in. And I think they're kind of going to not completely erase it, but I think they're going to try to move past what happened in Batman vs Superman and Suicide Squad and stuff like that.
let's have this conversation at the end of November after we see Justice League. 'Cause
Exactly.
I reckon we're going
We'll
to get some
expand more.
sweet little treats in that movie.
Because that is definitely going to help us understand, I think, a little bit more where we're headed.
Absolutely.
Chris writes, what original Ghostbuster did you want to be when you were a kid playing Ghostbusters? Okay.
Fuck.
I don't know that
I
name.
don't
Fuck.
I don't know any of the Ghostbusters. Looking at my physique, I'll be the Marshmallow Man.
Yeah.
Hey, that's probably fairly true.
I don't know.
Amy?
Look, can I be Chris
You
Hemsworth's
can be the Green
character?
Ghost.
Yeah, okay.
Slimer.
That'll be me.
When I was a kid playing Ghostbusters, I wanted to be Chris Hemsworth's future character.
The dim-witted secretary.
So, look, you do have Peter Venkman, which was Bill Murray, in case you guys
Troy, has to be a funny answer, mate.
forgot. Why does it have to be a funny
You
answer?
can be Slimer.
I don't want to be Slimer. I want to be...
You can be Slimer's wife.
I want to be Lewis, the accountant dude. What's his name? I got it in front of me. Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Maybe
he's the
Rick
guy
Moranis'
that comes in and saves
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah, you can
But
be him.
he eventually gets possessed.
He's bad.
And then he goes a bit crazy.
Yeah.
And then he's like, running amok.
He's the guy who was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't even want to be a Ghostbuster. I just make me Janine, who was like Chris Hemsworth's opposite character in
Yeah.
the movie. I'll be the receptionist chick. She was pretty cool, sassy.
Mm.
But if I was being serious, Winston, why not?
I'm going to be the one with the glasses because I wear glasses.
Egon makes sense, you know.
Yep.
Makes
Okay,
sense.
good. I feel like
All right.
we've answered that question well.
Yeah, did we? Daniel writes, what would you like to see, or do you ever think we'll see DC filming adaptations of their Elseworld books which run parallel to the existing DC universe? So basically stories where continuity of casting and storylines doesn't matter and each film is just a one-off. What do you think?
Nah. No.
Nah.
No.
Nah.
We're getting animated movies, so that's good enough for me.
Plus, animated movies are the best.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think they'll actually make good actual feature films.
No.
Yeah, probably not. I think to delve a little bit deeper, I don't think DC's ready to start tackling other properties.
Ready.
But I don't think they're ready to start tackling other properties like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are barely getting the DCEU going at the moment, so
It needs to be more established for any kind of talking about that type of thing.
I just want to handle the good shit before we get into the weird shit.
Yeah, let them fully right the ship. Like Wonder Woman has definitely helped. We'll see what happens with Justice League and all that sort of stuff. Let them right the ship and let them continue with the properties that they have here. I don't think they could even begin to think or should even begin to think about these other things. So I don't think we'll ever see it. I like the idea of it. Like, I think that's a really cool idea to have them running sort of along at the same time as standalone movies. You could have completely different actors or whatever you want to do with it. But
they'll make
I
no
don't
money.
think it'll happen. Yeah.
They'll make no money.
It well and truly oversaturate it, and I think animated movies is the way to go with this in particular. We've got a couple left. Actually, we've got one left, and it's from Ian. But he asked 2 questions, which is cheating.
Fucking
But
cheating.
we'll allow it.
But we'll allow it this time, Ian. What do you think they're going to do with Leia in Episode 9? Obviously, Star Wars. And Incredibles 2, too late or just enough time?
Incredibles 2, fuck yeah. That's all.
Yep.
Look, we were actually speaking about Pixar and Disney movies coming back after too long.
Yeah.
Just last episode with Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. Look, everyone loved Finding Nemo. Everyone loved The Incredibles. So, I really don't hope we get a Finding Dory that it was absolute dog shit. I hope that doesn't happen with The Incredibles too. So maybe it is too long.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't say anything like this until you see the movie. So
Yeah, well, that's true. I would have to err on the side of too long only because, fans wanted this
10
the
years
day
ago.
after they saw the first movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
I was holding out for it for years.
So it's kind of one of those things where, yes, fans are still asking for it, but when you actually finally get to it and do it, are they really kind of, still really that interested to go and see it? Or it'd be like, it's been 10 years, I can just wait till I can illegally download it and I'll watch it that way.
Yeah.
Which won't be me.
I'm going to go see it.
I'll go see it properly.
Fun fact, when my husband and I first started dating, I made him dress up as Mr. Incredible because I had a Disney theme party.
Oh, guess what?
What?
Troy has a Mr.
I
Incredible
know.
outfit.
I've seen it. It's amazing.
Is Troy your husband?
Oh, this just go awkward.
No.
No, but I am also in possession of an incredible suit, and maybe sometime Maurice and I can go as twins
There
to
you
a
go.
thing.
I don't know
I
if
like
he
that.
still has his. He might have burnt it.
No, well, that's a shame. And do you
Burnt
have?
it.
He really didn't want. He hates dress ups.
Oh.
Moving on to
That's
Leia.
that's fair. Yeah. So what do we think they're going to do with Leia in Episode 9? I don't even think they know yet.
No,
to be
I'm not
honest with
answering. This answer's too triggered.
It is well and truly too triggered.
I've got no idea.
I think they are going to have to give her a send-off in episode 8.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't know how that is going to happen yet. I don't know how they're going to pull it off. They cannot bring her back
No.
for episode 9. They've already said they're not going to bring her back in a CGI format or anything like that,
Good.
right? So I think they will wrap up the story in episode 8. I just don't know what that looks like yet. It's pretty hard to kind of, to talk about things that I honestly don't believe they really still have completely solved themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that doesn't really answer your question. But hey,
It's a mystery.
you had 2 and we answered 1 at least. So
Yeah.
We're halfway there.
Deal
halfway
with it.
there. That is it, my friends.
That's going to do it for another episode.
all the way through, like a couple of troopers and another trooper that shows up sometimes.
Yeah.
and
Every
troops
5
through.
years. Maybe
Yeah,
as
every-
often as an Incredibles movie.
Yeah,
That's me.
Who knows? But Amy's a busy lady.
She's very busy.
She's got some stuff going on.
Amy's about to get a little bit busier, but that's news coming up for another
Sneaky
time.
Oh
news.
yeah. Hey kids, let's thank some people.
Let's.
Let's thank the listeners, the subscribers, the reviewers. You guys are the ones that really make the show. You help shape it. If you're not listening, start listening. How are you hearing me right now? I don't even know.
Inception.
Yeah, Inception, Podception or something.
Podception.
So, keep listening, you guys. Keep reviewing if you haven't done so. Why not just throw us a review?
Yeah, throw us a bone.
Throw us a
Throw
bone.
me a
Throw us a
freaking
5-star
bone here.
bone.
Throw us a boner.
Yeah.
Hang on. Don't do that.
Wait.
Kate, what's our social media?
You can find us on Facebook. That's Comic Confidential Podcast. You can also join our listener community. You can join us and other listeners of the show. That is Comic Confidential Listener Community. Just search that.
Oh, my God.
It
Fancy
is
that.
so difficult to find. So just search that in your little face.
Foogles.
Foogle. Just Foogle it. That's a Facebook Google. Give us a look. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. That's at ComicConPod. We also have a website. Past episodes, future episodes.
And everything in between.
Yeah, I skipped the address because I'm too scared to say it. No. I'm going to say it.
say it. You do it. Yeah.
It's ComicConPod.com.
Oh, my God. You nailed it, my
nailed it.
friend. You nailed it. We also have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/ComicConPod. Jump on there. You can support the show for as little as $1 a month. But the real good shit starts at about $2.
$2.
Because $2 a month gets you into the super exclusive Patreon group chat, which is a whole bunch of kids that are a bunch of kids.
Yeah,
Cool kids.
pretty
They're cool-
much.
They're not kids. They're fully grown adults and whatnot. But they are amazing people. And you can be with them, and you can talk to them, and you can talk to us. We're there.
Look, if
I
you
don't know if that's a selling point. But
If you hate your phone battery lasting all day, have I got the thing for you?
If you love consistent buzzing, vibration-y noises going off at your desk every day, this is the place for you.
If you want to be like new Patreon subscriber Oliver and be sitting in class with out your phone turned on silent and have mad notifications going off while you're trying to be a good boy, then do we have the thing for you?
We sure do.
Now, we do need to take a second to thank Oliver. He is our latest Patreon champion. Thank you, kind sir.
Thanks.
He's a member of the listener community as well. He's a good kid. He does a lot of
is one
stuff.
of the better legends in that group. Not that I have
Hey,
favorites,
you can't say things
Game
like
plan
that.
favorites.
but look, he does some things that are superhuman.
He
Wow.
does some things that are pretty good, but that's not to say that the rest of you aren't a whole
We love
bunch
all of
great
our children
champions.
equally.
And how dare you try to single out children and say others are better than the others? But Oliver, thank you so much for jumping on and supporting the show, man. And thank you,
Everyone else.
from the bottom of my heart, honestly.
Bottom of your stomach is probably a better way.
Yeah,
It's a big
the
thing.
It's a
bottom
bigger-
of my fart. Anyway,
That's going to do it.
that's it.
We're done. Fart jokes mean we're done.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. As always, I'm Troy.
I'm Cade.
And I'm sometimes Amy.
And this has been Comic Confidential all
Cheers.
the time.
All the time. Cheers.
Bye.
Peace. And we're done.
You didn't get your fucking puns in.
You only got 2.
Look, I kind of like...
I'm going to say 3.
What was the third one?
Yeah, I did 3.
What'd you do?
I did
yeah,
bananas.
You did. Yeah, ape
gonna
shit
go
and
ape
monkey
shit
business.
And monkey business. I got 3, man.
let
Fuck
ya.
it, that's pretty good.
It is.
I could have got them in, and you guys would have got pissy at me for like
Oh,
constantly
fuck off.
throwing in.
I love puns.
Quick, do one now.
Okay. Hey,
Hey,
you know, God, I've actually like you put me on the spot. I got nothing.
great joke.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
monkeying
Holy
around?
shit! No, see, but that's like kind of already done that with like monkey business. That's what I'm trying
It's
to like.
totally different.
That's what I'm trying to steer clear from. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Swinging through trees. No, it's a new saying. It's
that's great.
yeah, it's like when you're playing it cool, you're just swinging through trees, you know, which is what I'm doing right now.
You heard it here first.
Wow. So, keeping it cool, Troy?
Keep it up, man. I'm just swinging through trees.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hashtags. Can we make you a shirt that says that?
Swinging
Nobody
through
will
trees.
get it.
Look, you know, it's hard. It's hard sometimes being like the pun guy, because sometimes they just don't come to you. But you know,
That is the most terrible thing I've ever heard.
I kind of liked it.
I've now got ear
you.
cancer.
You're welcome.
you
You should've
literally have
You should
nothing.
have done one on the play on Caesar.
Yeah, okay. What about this? You're a pansy. You know what type of pansy you are?
What?
A chimpanzee.
Oh!
That'll do.
That was a good one.